Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It is Friday. We're nearly at the weekend. I hope you're going to have a very good start to that weekend, whether you're watching or listening to this around the world. Slight disclaimer, and anyone who would have watched yesterday's shows will know what I'm about to say, but it isn't actually Friday when I'm recording this. It is Thursday night, but of course I'm flying. At the time you're probably watching this, I'm in the air, 30,000 feet up in the air, heading off on holiday for a couple of weeks, but I wanted to get a video out today, so it is pre-recorded. It is actually 7 o'clock in the evening UK time on Thursday by the time I'm recording this. So if I have missed anything, if something massive has happened overnight, then that's why I'm not talking about it in this video, because I've got a taxi to the airport coming at 6 a.m. in the morning on Friday. So there's no way I'm going to be able to record anything then. So I'm having to do it tonight. So yeah, if I've missed anything, that is why. But I just wanted to get a show out. Anyway, and there's still plenty to discuss. We're going to talk a little bit about Mikel Merino. We're going to talk about Nketiah, Emile Rowe. Got some questions and comments from you guys as well, reacting with what we were speaking about yesterday, both from my show and with Inside Arsenal Extra Time with James Benge. So plenty to get stuck into. But what I wanted to start on today was just a little bit of update on the players who are now set to return. Obviously, Arsenal are back from the USA. They've flown back at the end of the US tour. They finished the game off again. They finished the tour off with that game against Liverpool on Thursday morning. They have now headed back to London to prepare for the start of the new Premier League season. They've got the game on Wednesday night against Leverkusen, Granit Xhaka's return, obviously, and then it's Lyon the following weekend, and then it's all eyes on the Premier League and Wolves the following weekend. But Arsenal have been without a fair few players. Obviously, we've seen staggered returns during the summer, but we're still without that sort of real key group of Bukayo Saka, William Saliba, Declan Rice, David Raya, and Aaron Ramsdale. But they are all now set to return and could well, might be getting ahead of myself, but you never know. We could see some of them play in the game against Lyon. Now, their returns are going to be staggered over this weekend, but by Monday, all of them are going to be back with the group. So we're going to have Saka back, Saliba back, Rice back, Raya back. Ramsdale back and Raya back. So yeah, real boost for Mikel Arteta. Obviously, really crucial players to the squad. They were missed over in the US tour. Shame for USA Arsenal fans who were over there watching those games, didn't get to see players like that. But of course, because of their longer involvement in the Euros in the summer, they were given a little bit of an extended break, a much needed break as well. But they are now coming back, which means Mikel Arteta is going to have a fully fit and available squad to start working with on Monday at London Colney. Some of them are back this weekend, but as I said, they are all staggered returns between the sort of five of them, give or take a day or so. But by Monday, I'm told that all of them will be back for training at London Colney ahead of their games against Leverkusen and the games against Lyon, which is fantastic news for Arsenal, no doubt about it. I mean, it's just going to be all eyes on that game against Wolves. And I've seen Bukayo Saka's been doing fitness work. I know Saliba's been doing fitness work while he's been away as well. I imagine they all have. And I would be very, very surprised if all of those players who are back this weekend don't feature in the squad against Wolves, transfers permitting. Obviously, Aaron Ramsdale's future, of course, is very much up for debate. But provided no injuries are picked up, I think even though they've arrived back so much later than everyone else, they're going to be fit. It's only been a few weeks, basically, since the Euros final. And they're not going to be lost too much fitness in that space of time. They've all been keeping themselves in shape as well, ready for the start of their own pre-season, which of course starts on Monday. So I think they'll all be involved in that game against Wolves. I'd be very, very surprised. So fantastic news for Arsenal, having them back. It's going to be great to see those first pictures of them at London Colney, probably on Monday. Right, moving on to what's been going on transfer-wise. Obviously, Mikel Merino, that continues to rumble on. Really strong reports doing the rounds, mainly from Spain, and Arsenal have made this offer for Merino, and it's very, very close to happening. Obviously, look, my information is Arsenal, yes, as I've reported plenty of times, very interested in Mikel Merino. I'm not told it's as close as other people. It's been suggested elsewhere, but he is very much on the agenda for Arsenal, and there's lots of sort of irons in the fire when it comes to trying to get this deal done. And Arsenal do want to get this deal done, but I'm not sure it's quite as imminent as has been suggested elsewhere. But I might be wrong, but that's certainly the information that I have, is that just like calm down a little bit. Yes, he's a player of interest. Arsenal are very much looking at him and trying to potentially get a deal done for him, but I'm not sure it's like imminent. I'm not expecting him basically by the time I land in Portugal to be holding up a Merino Arsenal shirt. I'm probably wrong, and I'm going to have very much egg on my face at the end of that when I arrive in Portugal and suddenly it's plastered all over the social media of him in an Arsenal shirt. But I don't think we're at that stage yet. But fingers crossed it will happen. It's certainly a deal that Arsenal are trying to get done, and they like him, and hopefully it can get done, and then Arsenal can move on to that attacker. I think the next few days are going to be dominated as well by potential outgoings. Eddie Nketiah, though, again, lots of talk about how Marseille is potentially imminent and all that, but I'm still being told that what Marseille are offering for Eddie Nketiah is not even in the ballpark of what Arsenal want for Eddie, and they do not view the bids as anywhere near acceptable and the sort of structure of the deals that are in place at the moment. So Marseille are going to have to change that drastically, as far as I'm aware, to get a deal done for Eddie Nketiah. Obviously, he's been playing the whole way through the US tour. Arsenal haven't kept him out of that despite these ongoing talks with Marseille, because Arsenal are feeling what's being offered to them at the moment is just nothing like what they want for Nketiah. So Marseille are going to have to step it up. They're going to have to get serious, because right now, as far as I'm aware, Arsenal aren't sort of viewing these bids that are coming in for Eddie Nketiah as serious from Marseille. Of course, Emile Smith-Rowe, it's a lot closer to happening. In fact, I think it's very, very imminent. So I don't think we're going to have to wait too much longer to have the confirmation that Emile Smith-Rowe is now a Fulham player, which is going to be a very, very sad day, of course, even though I've given myself a few days to prepare for that, the mental image of Smith-Rowe holding up a Fulham shirt and not an Arsenal one. But it is very, very imminent now. I expect it to happen very, very soon. And yeah, Emile Smith-Rowe's time at Arsenal is coming to an end, but it's an excellent deal. I've said about it before. £34 million all in, 27 up front, 7 million add-ons, which I believe to be, hopefully Arsenal see it as achievable, and that'll be a decent deal for Emile Smith-Rowe. And as I said, I really, really hope he smashes it. There's not many Arsenal players who have gone on that have left the club that I've wanted to be a success more than I want Emile to go and be a success at Fulham, apart from against Arsenal, of course. But I really hope he goes there and smashes it and shows everyone exactly what he's about and gets himself back in and around the England mix. Because it wasn't too long ago, remember, he was in that England mix when he was starring and scoring all of those goals for Arsenal. Right, moving on to some of your questions and comments before we wrap this one up today. You've got a couple here about sort of striker situation at Arsenal, and Gabriel Jesus, of course, started as a striker in the game against Liverpool. Kai Havertz was playing as a left 8. Ledigi123 says, I'm at a crossroads with Gabriel Jesus. He offers so much in so many aspects of his game, but then he lets us down consistently with his awful finishing and sloppy giveaways. Man City got rid of him and Zinchenko to a PL rival for a reason, and I'm starting to think we've evolved past Jesus, much like it became apparent with Zinchenko midway through last season. I'm not at that stage yet, I have to say, with Gabriel Jesus. I don't think Arsenal have evolved past him yet, but I think Gabriel Jesus needs to show now, the start of this season, that he can get back to what we saw for that first half of the season when he first arrived at Arsenal. Not last season's Gabriel Jesus, the season before that, pre-World Cup Gabriel Jesus. If he can get back to that sort of form, and I think the signs have been decent in the summer. I think he's played well during pre-season so far, and I think he looks fit and he looks healthy. His movement's good. So if he can show that and he can score some goals, because I agree that's very, very important, then I still think he's got a big part to play, even though, in my mind, Kai Havertz should still be starting as a central striker. And Mr. D-Mark says, oh my word, we so need a striker. No hope of winning the Premier League without one. Love Havertz, but he is not an out-and-out goal scorer and never will be. Jesus needs 10 chances to score 1 goal. Slightly fed up with the constant comments about the record goals tally from last season. Simple truth is, we would have scored at least 10 more with a proper striker and won the league. Maybe that is the simple truth. But I don't think there is no hope of Arsenal winning the league without a striker, because Arsenal pushed Manchester City to the final few minutes of the season last season without a striker, if that's what you mean, because you obviously had Havertz and Jesus who you view as that. And, I think, I don't know. In a way, I agree. I do think Arsenal, it would be nice to have an out-and-out killer striker, but I look around the market right now at who is possibly available, and I just don't know who there is. Osimhen, maybe, although I'm still not overly convinced that he is the guy. Gyökeres, a lot of people talk about. Again, I'm not convinced he is the guy, certainly not for the money it would take to get him out of Sporting Lisbon. So I'm just not sure there are that many killer strikers out there, to be honest. And when you look at Havertz's record since he's moved and played as a central striker, his goal tally is excellent. If he continues that this season, he's going to end up with 20 plus goals. So as much as I do tend to agree, I certainly agree that Arsenal need to add at least one more real sort of high-end attacking talent to the squad before the end of the window, whether that be a striker or a wide attacker who can score goals. Definitely need to do that. But I'm not out and out convinced yet. And I know others are, but I'm not out and out convinced yet. You know, they can't win this league without signing a proper killer striker. But love to get your thoughts on it, as always, in the comments below. Matt C has got in touch now and he says, I'm excited by Merino. Let's face it, these deals are all risky to some extent. For the money he's going to cost, if we get a decent squad member for 4 years, it's good value. If he establishes himself as a starter, it's a bargain. Computer games have made this kind of signing, this a kind of signing no one gets excited about. And partly for that reason, there's a lot of unseen value. He also has a decent injury record. Fingers crossed he's not Partey Mark 2. Well, I think that's a bit harsh on Thomas Partey. Look, Thomas, I think you're probably just talking about injury record there when it comes to Thomas. But look, if Merino can hit the sort of standards that Thomas Partey has set when he's been fit at Arsenal, then that would be absolutely fantastic. I agree with you in terms of the sort of computer games have made this kind of signing no one gets excited about. You know, and I think I've fallen into that trap as well with Merino at times. I've looked at it when it was first sort of doing the rounds and saw the name mentioned. I was just like, oh, Mikel Merino, is that really doing it for me? I'm not sure it is. I'd much rather have a big name, sort of high-end midfielder coming in to immediately improve the team. But the more I look at Merino, the more I find out about him, the more I speak to people in Spain who watch him certainly a lot more than me. You know, they're all saying, look, Arsenal are signing a hell of a player if it gets done. Arsenal are signing a really good talent, and for 25 million, it would be a real bargain for Arsenal. So, yeah, I think I'm quite excited about it, about what it will bring. I think the key thing is it's going to be a midfielder that Mikel Arteta is going to use. And ultimately, that is really important because before, in the last couple of years, we've had Mohamed Elneny, Sambi Lokonga when he's been around before he went out on loan. You know, midfield, Emile Smith-Rowe, if you add him into the mix there as a sort of left 8 option as well. Players who have been in the squad, but Mikel just doesn't want to use. But with Merino, you know he is going to use him. So you're going to have another player added to the squad who's going to be a very useful addition, and I think will establish himself in that sort of first choice midfield 3, probably alongside Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard. So yeah, I'm with you, Matt. I'm quite excited about this signing if it does happen, which I do expect it probably will. Jamin here says, not to be a pessimist, but I don't share your confidence in Partey. He was brought back last season at a snail's pace and yet looked well out of it in the games he played. The games also look more chaotic when he plays. We have a lot less control. It's sad, but I think he's done from an Arsenal perspective. But I hope I'm wrong. Of course. I'm just not sure. And I see what you're saying, that you don't share my confidence in Partey. And but I get, you know, and I have my concerns about Thomas at the moment. I was really hoping I was going to see Thomas look back to his pre-injury best in this preseason. And I'm a bit concerned that what I've seen from him so far is still very similar to what I saw in those last few games last season. But the thing with Thomas, I think he's looked pretty sluggish. He looks like he's lost a yard of pace, which is crucial, really. But you also look in that Liverpool game, and he did a lot of good things as well. He did. There's still no one really in that team who can do what Thomas Partey does. So I'm still just holding on to my belief that he does take longer than everyone else to get back to peak fitness and get back to his best. He's still only been back a few weeks. He's still only played a couple of games. You know, if he can stay fit and he can get another 3-4 games under his belt, then hopefully we're going to see Thomas back kind of what he was before the injury in terms of just that extra yard of pace and movement, because at the moment he just does look a yard behind where he needs to be. And in that position, how important it is, you really can't afford to be that yard behind because you're going to get found out, especially in the Premier League. So fingers crossed, Thomas will see him back to his very, very best very, very soon. Hopefully over the next 2 games, of course, building up to that Wolves game. I can't believe it, it's only 2 weeks. So I'm away now, obviously. I'm going to try and do some videos while I'm away. So keep your eyes peeled for it. I don't think it's definitely not going to be at the rate that I normally do. It's not going to be every day. It's going to be a bit hit and miss, but I will try and do some things. But so it's Friday now. I go away and I come back the day before the season starts. That's just so exciting. I just cannot wait. It's like back in England, next day, wake up, Premier League season starts for Arsenal. Cannot wait to get down the Emirates for that game against Wolves. Really, really looking forward to what should be, hopefully will be, a very, very special season. Right, that's it from me, everyone. Thank you very much for your time. As always, do have a very good start to the weekend, wherever you're watching or listening to this around the world. And I'll try and be back. I won't say my usual. I'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again because I'm not sure I will. But I will be back fairly soon to do it all over again from sunny Portugal. as well. So have a good one, everyone. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.